The balance in Joanna's checking account is negative $30. For Part A, complete the table below to help find an expression that describes the new balance in dollars if Joanna deposits D dollars into the account. Show the arithmetic to help you see a pattern. And then in Part B, evaluate the expression you found in Part A for D equals 79. What does your result mean in this situation? So we'll start off by looking at the table and figuring out how we can use the information here to help us to come up with that expression. That's what we're trying to do, is to find an expression that describes the new balance if Joanna deposits D dollars. And we can see that D down here at the end. But first we're going to try it with some actual numbers to help us to see what's going on. So remember, the problem told us that her checking account balance is negative $30. So that means each one of these, when I'm figuring out what her new balance will be, each one of these is going to start with negative $30. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that negative 30 into each one of these, because that's going to play a part in each one of these pieces in my table. Now the deposit amount is going to be different for each one. In the first situation, we're saying Joanna deposits $20. So if we add $20 to that, negative 30 plus 20, well, the signs are different, so we're going to take the difference, which will be 10, and because the negative 30 has a larger absolute value and it's negative, our answer would be negative 10. In the next example, Joanna deposits or adds $40 to her account. And when we do the math, negative 30 plus 40, well, again, that gives us 10, but now it's positive 10 because the positive 40 has the larger absolute value. Negative 30 plus 50 is going to tell us what happens when she deposits $50 into her account. So negative 30 plus 50 would give us positive 20. Again, signs are different, so we take the difference, keep the sign of the number with the larger absolute value. In our last example, remember, we don't have an actual amount of money that she's depositing. We're saying we're going to generalize that to just be some D dollars. So we're going to follow the same pattern that we saw here. In each one of these, we added the amount that she deposited, so we're going to do the same thing here, even though now that amount is going to be the variable D. So here's the expression that we were looking for, that they asked us to find an expression. Now we're going to evaluate the expression that we found in Part A for D equals 79. So we'll take our expression, the negative 30 plus D, and we're going to let D be 79. We're going to evaluate this expression for 79. So remember how we do that. We isolate that value that we're going to be evaluating. And so this is going to become negative 30 plus, now instead of D, we have 79. And if we do negative 30 plus 79, the signs are different. So we take the difference, and the difference would be 49. 79 has the larger absolute value, and it's positive, so it would be positive 49. Now we have to be sure that we answer the last part of the question. What does your answer mean in this situation? So if we think about what that means, so let's see if we can just get our table here. So what does that mean? That means that, remember that D was the amount that she deposited. So that means that if Joanna deposits $79, remember D was 79, so she deposits $79, her new balance will be, and remember we found that the new balance was going to be this 49 over here, and so the new balance is going to be, oh, it's going to be something. It's going to be $49. And now we've answered all the parts of the question. Be sure when you're having to do one of these where it says, what does your result mean in this situation? They're asking you a question in English, so be sure that you give a complete sentence for your answer.